Fire away.
How many lobbyists have contacted you since you won?
732. No. How many lobbyists have contacted me since I've won? I don't know, a number of them. And what do they want? Tell me what you think they want from me. Buy my soul. Again, full disclosure, you know, let me just think where I think your question might be going. I put myself out there this campaign and said a lot of outlandish things, but not outlandish to me because I believe in them, okay? You know firmly that I'm a term limit guy. I don't think I should be here for longer than 6 years, and I won't. You've heard me say firmly that I will not take any health care benefits that they get that you don't get, and I will not take any pension or retirement benefits that they get that we don't get. You've heard me hammer both parties for going to Washington, becoming something different, and forgetting about us here. And they're going to be lobbyists all over the place wanting a piece of Joe Walsh, just like they want a piece of a lot of us. I've taught American government. I don't have a problem taking money from anybody who wants to give me money because they sort of believe what I believe. We can get into a long discussion about the founders and why they encourage there to be special interest groups. But yeah, to answer your question, a number of them. But they know where I stand. I think they'll give me money if they agree with some of these stances that I've got. Questions? Yes, sir.
I was at your...
Good to see you again.
Nice to see you too. I was over at your Fox Lake event.
Yes.
On your first one, and you were saying...
Quickly, for those who don't know, we started out in Fox Lake, then we went where? Where was number 2? Lake Zurich, McHenry, Schaumburg, and now we're finishing up in Gurnee. Go ahead.
I noticed you said how you were opposed to extending the unemployment because you don't want to put it in the national debt because it's not paid for. Now,
that's not the primary reason.
Yeah. Regional people will probably agree with you on that, but you also said how you're supporting the more extensions for tax cuts without it being paid for because you said it was going to pay for itself, quote unquote, your words. So I would like to ask you, aren't you contradicting yourself by saying we're not going to support expanding the unemployment because it's going to raise the national debt, but at the same time we're going to get more tax cuts away without paying for it, where we already have about a $14 trillion deficit thanks to Bush and yes, the Obama administration.
Yes, that's true. They both contributed to it. Let me be clear, and it's a very good question. My answer will be the same as it was in Fox Lake, and it will be the same 2 or 3 weeks from now, but it's a good question. I'm going to Washington to do 2 things. We are on a spending path right now that's going to bankrupt our kids and our grandkids. End of story. It's a shame. Republicans and Democrats have done it. We are right now robbing our kids and our grandkids of their futures, a pox on both their houses for doing it. We have got to cut spending. And I've got some real specific ideas on where to cut spending. But this is where you and I probably disagree. Because we got to grow the economy. And when we grow the economy, more revenues come into government. And I believe, you might disagree with me, the only way to grow the economy is to get government the hell out of the way, get off of the back of businesses, cut taxes wherever we can cut taxes on businesses. And here's where we disagree. Eventually, I think I got history on my side. When you do that, when you cut taxes and you grow the economy, revenues, just talking about revenues, more revenues go into government. So I think we cut spending and we grow revenues. And I think we grow revenues by cutting taxes and letting businesses grow. So I do think they pay for themselves. Yes, ma'am.
Could I identify an important person in Warren Township who is trying to cut taxes on the school board? Rich Conley is not only...
Where's Rich?
Rich in Warren, he's also helping some other school boards to get things
wonderful.
together.
Rich, thanks for coming. Thank you. Let's go all the way in the back.
Well, one of the first things that you're going to face when you get to Washington is the situation of having to raise the debt ceiling.
Yes. Want me to answer that? There could potentially be two really difficult votes this spring. There could be a lot of difficult votes. One will clearly be, potentially, do I vote to raise the debt ceiling? And I will not. Do you want a longer answer? I will not.
I'd like a rationale for that, particularly with the latest Moody's report saying that in the direction that we're going, particularly extending the tax cuts, that the bond rating for the United States is about to drop.
Look, it's a great question, it's a great debate, but again, I am not going there to do anything to grow government. And if I have to go there and help apply a lot of tough love to my federal government, I'm going to do it. Another tough vote that I won't shy away from. This is the other one that people thought that might come up. Will I vote to bail out states? Am I going to vote to bail out Illinois, California, you name it? That list is getting bigger. And again, respectfully, no. No. Again, this is not a partisan issue. Both parties have been skating along for too long. And we always think we can inch along and we can always raise the debt ceiling. We can always tap on the Fed. The Fed can release more money. We can just keep doing this kind of thing. No! Look, you know enough about me that you know these last 3 or 4 years, I've struggled financially, personally. Did you know that, Bob? Just ask the Daily Herald. It's been all over me. We've all had to make some tough decisions, and I made some mistakes. But it's about time our government, respectfully, sir, makes a couple real tough decisions. And if it propels us down a real serious road for a little bit, wonderful. Wonderful. Questions? Thoughts? Comments? Yes, ma'am.
You know, I agree with you, but wouldn't it be best to make those tough decisions, the majority of them, on the backs of people other than the middle class? The people who can least afford it. Sorry, I'll turn myself.
Oh, that's okay. Are you referring to a particular?
Tax cuts for the wealthy.
Yeah. Well,
We're going into debt with China more for people who obviously don't need these cuts.
Well,
I don't understand it.
good question.
Treat all Americans fairly. How about that?
Americans have, all Americans have been
I'm tired of
treated
this
more
class
fair.
warfare. Americans more fairly.
Treated more,
Treat all fairly.
that's
Why
nonsense.
don't you let her talk?
Hey. Ground rule number 1, folks, treat each other with respect. Continue.
Thank you. No, I'm actually done. I think that the top 1% who actually own about 80% of this country's wealth have been treated more than fairly. I would like to see them pay their fair share.
Hold on. Let me just chime in for a moment, and then we can open it up to something. And let me show my cards. There's no favoritism for the wealthy, middle class, or the poor with me. I want to cut everybody's taxes. Then where you and I may disagree on should we cut the taxes for the wealthy, we may disagree because I think when you do that, first of all, again, I don't want to separate anybody. I think it's just as fair to cut the wealthy as it is middle class and poor. They all should be cut.
Why?
Why?
Why should they do
You know
not
why?
need it? They've had their tax cuts for 10 years. We bought them from China. We got ourselves into a deficit to give tax cuts.
First of all, let me ask you a question.
People, excuse me, let me finish. To give tax cuts to people who do not need them.
Let me ask you a question.
They
First of
didn't ask for them.
all, are we cutting their taxes?
No.
Let's always.
What do you mean, are we cutting their
If we vote to extend the Bush tax rates, are we cutting taxes? What are we doing? We're extending.
I don't think that, I do not, okay, I guess I do
Good
not
point.
think, see,
Good
I
point.
do not think that they should have been given tax cuts to begin with. However, if they were, as the Republicans themselves had said, we'll just do this for 10 years and they'll expire. As soon as they were set to expire, they wanted them back again. And I don't see why we're going to talk with China to give billionaires tax cuts. It makes no sense to me.
Fair point. Somebody over here wanted to chime in respectfully? Sir?
Well, the Republican Party, one of the things that they've been saying is that if we maintain these current tax levels, now you can argue that there are tax cuts going back to when Bush did, or just extending the existing rates, whatever, it's just semantics at this point. All right. Their main argument is, for them, is that you cut these taxes and you keep these rates in place, that it will create jobs. They've been in place for 8 years. We have 9.8% unemployment. Where the heck are the jobs?
Thank you.
And if they don't do it in 2 years, if these millionaires and billionaires on Wall Street who destroyed our economy, the people at HP who ship jobs over to China, they should not get them back.
Right.